Welcome to South Harmon. Welcome to South Harmon. Hey, welcome to South Harmon. We glad you here today. Another AMA. Ask me anything. Super chat is cool if you wanna pay to play. Like and subscribe, that's what we really appreciate. Let me introduce you to the tear down king. Mike McNutty, that's your questions, he'll answer anything. ATM, you know I don't put them graphics on the screen. Glad you tapped in now, stay tapped in for the team. Hey, everything is posted. Go follow the socials. South Harmon FF tag us if we get noticed. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today. Another AMA. Welcome to South Harmon, we glad you here today.
Yeah, we back. Wednesday night AMA. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope everybody's having a good time. Adam, these last 2 days, man, going back to work after being off for a week.
I was gonna ask you.
Suck.
Yeah, you're ready for AMA, huh?
Well, part of it too. Like, I'm a fat sack of shit. Okay, I am a fat sack of shit, and my office now at my new job is up 18 stairs. I counted them because the guy I'm shadowing with in training, who's retiring, he's an older guy.
Okay.
But he is like a fucking Gene Simmons, apparently. Like Richard Simmons. I don't fucking know. The one who used to wear the spandex and do the workout videos in like the 80s with the curly hair. That's basically this guy. I mean, he looks much better than fucking Richard Simmons or Gene's, whatever fucking Simmons it was. But he like never stops fucking moving. So we are up and down these fucking stairs like 47 times in a day.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, man, 18 stairs doesn't sound that bad, but when you bring the quantity into play, okay, I get
Jesus
it.
Christ.
And I understand why now you've counted it. Yeah, that's
my
crazy.
thunder thigh's burning like a motherfucker. So, woo.
Well,
I need this vodka though.
I'll tell you this much: you've earned it. By the way, cheers, man. Got some.
Cheers, buddy.
I'm about to be done, unfortunately, with this Garrison Brothers. I've been trying to save it, but it's about to be over. Garrison Brothers was awesome, but
yeah,
I was going to tell you. Do you still have some?
Half a bottle yet?
All
yeah,
right.
half a bottle yet. Special occasion.
What I was going to tell you though is that you'll, with that type of activity, if that stays the truth, like there's no way you don't have some fucking absolute thighs of steel when you come out of that thing.
Well, let's go. Yeah, I felt it. I think yesterday was like a 6,000 calorie burn day. Just like, what the fuck? I'm getting Expo bod ready so we can walk around in our underwear, Dr. B. Just
Love
you and me,
this.
buddy.
Dr. B,
Back
man.
at it.
What's up, fellas? Another wonderful Wednesday evening to be talking football. Tim, appreciate you being here today. We're glad you're here today, as you heard. Ethan, I like, Mike, Ethan, it feels like always hits us with some of these early on ones. I like that. We're already queued up, ready to go. Let's give a question before we get into the topic of the thumbnail. 12-team, there's a 12-team start 9, Superflex PPR, 4-point per passing touchdown with no tight end premium. Man, can I tell you, Mike, that 4-point per passing touchdown with no tight end premium in just a standard PPR, this feels like the vanilla of the vanillas, right?
Super vanilla.
What direction do I go with this team and moves to make? All right, so you got Hurts and Caleb, Watson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nabers, and Rome. Geez, you got all three of them things? With Caleb? What? Okay. Higgins, Jaden Reed, Kupp, Keon, Javonte, Zamir, Warren, Benson, Laporta, plus 2 picks in each round of 25 and 26. So he's sitting on future first in 25 and in 26. Well, what direction to go with this team? I mean, Mike, just when I look at it, Hurts is the piece that makes me say, all right, you got a locked in like stud. Hammer. Right? And in this format, you need to have hammers. But here's the thing when I think about the rest of this team. While it sounds great in May, and this team will sound great in the season for the record, but I'm not locked in and certain that Nabers and Rome, or even Caleb for that matter, are locked into being hammers. And then your running back room is anything but hammers. So, Mike, with those future picks, is this one of those teams where you're kind of looking to build out with a 25, a real true goon squad in 25, or what are you trying to do here?
My answer? Sitting on my motherfucking hands.
There you
Sitting
go.
on my hands, and
Me
I'll
too.
see how it looks September second week of September, third week of September. Maybe Nabers, who's on the thumbnail, Marv, or Rome, like they take off and hit, and you're like, oh shit, like we're on to something. Now we're cooking with gas, and you got the draft capital to go backfill and try to fill out running backs. You already got quarterbacks, right? Deshaun Watson's an incredible value. People fucking hate him. I got another comment about how I'm completely out on Watson. Good. More for you and me, Adam. More for you and me. That's fine. Fucking be out on him. That's fine. I'll gobble them all up. But
what an idiot!
You're gonna start him and Jalen Hurts, and your quarterback room is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire league. Quarterback, starting, super flex, the other guy. Caleb, very nice piece to have. And then you got all 3 fucking receivers in this rookie draft. Jesus Christ. What a stud. T. Higgins, I still like. We'll have to see how the situation plays out. Like, this could be an ugly fucking holdout. Or his ass could get dealt to New England, before training camp. And all of a sudden we're like, fuck yeah, number 1 T. Higgins, let's ride. Jaden Reed, okay. Cup, old producer, that's fine. Running backs, I could really give a shit less. Like, I'm not really looking to build my running back room in May. So, like, looking at those 3 guys, I'm like, it's fucking 3 bodies and then Trey Benson.
No, I'm not looking to build it. I will say, like, if this team, I want to say on that point, if this team was built slightly different or a little closer in my estimation to competing, I might fuck around in May and buy one of those top 3, the big 3 running backs or something like that. I might make a pivot to do that now in an effort to try to compete. But I think when I'm looking at this team, like, the fact that you have those 4 super elite rookies as far as what we think they can become and what they're currently valued at, right? The 3 receivers plus Caleb. I think what I'm actually probably doing, Mike, is looking at this team as okay, I'm probably not going to be the best contender this year. I'm not going to pull myself away from contention purposefully, but it's one of those, especially in a lineup league like this, I'm going to see if I make the playoffs, and if I do, maybe I mess around with some of these picks at the last minute. I'm talking way close to the playoffs, not even before that at all, unless something absolutely completely unpassable gets across your desk on an offer. But basically what I'm looking to do probably with this team, I think the first thing I'm doing is I'm trying to see if I can sell Reed for future picks, because he's my wide receiver 5 based on this roster, and he's the one to me that's a little, like, when I look at it, I'm a little bit worried about where his value could end up being. Cup, I think I'm waiting closer to the season if I was going to sell him. I just don't think right now is the time. Everything else, I think you just kind of hold, sit on your hands like you said, and then I'm looking to just gobble up value as the season goes through. And if I can compete, fine. If not, by 25, by next season, this team is going to be fucking nice.
The only thing I'm actively doing is sniffing. You're going to know the league better than I am, Ethan. But at least sniff around and see what somebody's going to give you for Laporta. And if it's a top 25 asset in a 0 tight end premium league, fucking adios.
I didn't even. That's a great point. I totally was going to overlook that. Yeah, no tight end premium. I don't know what the value will be to your point, what the market says, but he's him and Reed, I think, are the 2 pieces. That's a great call that I'm trying to see what I can get back in market. Because if I can flip Reed for a future first, Mike, I'm doing that for sure with this build. Because now I can use those packages of first to go buy the necessary studs when I need them, as opposed to having my wide receiver 5 here.
Good fucking team, though, Ethan. Like it.
You're in a great spot, buddy. Well done. All right, so let's have the conversation. This was a great question to pivot into, the thumbnail, because, Mike, I'm starting to see what's interesting is I love the offseason conjecture shifts. Like 2 months ago, it was Malik was in a different tier than Rome, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm starting to see people like actually really fucking panicking about Malik Nabers as if he's, gonna have Drake London's career arc or worse to start off. And I'm not even going to tell you that can't be in the range of outcomes, but I'm starting to see this Malik Nabers panic. I'm curious where you're at. Based on the thumbnail, you're looking pretty crazy at it. But how do you feel about Malik Nabers this season if you're looking at it in a range of outcomes, like realistically?
Well, you go to Daniel Jones and people lose their fucking minds, right? The New York Giants were all like, ugh, that's disgusting. That's terrible. He's got a terrible quarterback, that kind of thing. And I understand where it's coming from, but my level of concern on Malik Nabers is fucking 0, Adam. And if people want to panic, I think this is great, man. I might be even more in on Nabers. Like, this might be awesome. This might be fucking amazing. Because no matter how you look at it, right, it was a wash for situation. Nabers could have ended up as the third wide receiver like Rome, which is a net negative. But I'm not saying Rome couldn't be the number one this year. I don't know if it's likely, but he could. What I can tell you is Nabers is the fucking number one in New York. You can lock that shit in lock, stock, guaranteed. Because everybody else on that fucking team is terrible. Terrible. Charles Barkley, terrible. It's disgusting. And Daniel Jones for a time had like made Darius Slayton relevant. What the fuck you think he's going to do with Malik Nabers? Now, Dimes doesn't throw the ball down the field a lot, but when he does, he's pretty fucking good at it. And even if he can't get the ball down the field because the offensive line's terrible, going to be a lot of fucking Jamar Chase-like routes and usage for one Malik Nabers in his rookie year. So I'm pretty on board. I don't think Daniel Jones in the slightest is going to ruin Malik Nabers. And if anybody tells you differently, then, call their fucking bluff. Go get all the Malik Nabers you can.
Yeah, so what I was doing here while you're talking, because I kind of share similar sentiment to you. If we use the last two seasons, okay, where 2022, let's try to do the best you can to remember. I know people hated him for so long, and they absolutely hate him now, but try the best you can to remember that there was a small window in time where people fucked around and took Daniel Jones in the second round of certain startups, you know?
Mistakes were made. It happens.
Now, the reason I bring that up, so Mike, 2022 and 2023, if we use the worst case scenario, like there's no realm in which he's not the de facto number one receiving option in this offense.
Don't fucking come out with the Wan'Dale Robinson shit or the fucking Jalen Hyatt shit or the Darius Slayton shit.
I kind of hope someone does, but
or
Mike hasn't been drinking quite enough yet for that, so let's try to keep this on the rails, all right? Last year, Mike, we had Darius Slayton with, for the record, Daniel Jones didn't play the entire time.
Yep.
770 yards, 4 touchdowns as the receiver one in that offense.
Yep.
2022, you have with, Daniel Jones actually playing at a better clip. A lot of that was really baked into his rushing upside, though. 724 yards, 2 touchdowns was what Darius Slayton gave you. To me, I see Malik Nabers at 20 years old currently probably is looking at a situation where if he is a little underwhelming, we're looking at like 800 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. And that's underwhelming.
But I wanted to put that in like context because is that panic? Is that realistically a fair floor to assess him at? Mike, for the record, Darius Slayton in 23, 79 targets, and in 22, 71 targets. I would bet my entire house, not my mortgage, my house, you could have the deed that he's going to have more than that if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I'd probably put it somewhere more around 120 if he stayed healthy for a full season.
He's getting 100. If he plays and stays healthy for 17 games, he's getting 100 targets. So my point is
they may not be the greatest targets.
They probably will not be. There might be some forced, like bad targets thrown his way too. I'm not trying to act like he's in a great situation, but
one of the best seasons we've ever seen out of Jalen Waddle came in his rookie year when that offense was fucking dog water ass cheeks.
He had 140 targets, right?
They just force-fed that fucking guy the football any way they could because he was their entire offense.
Yep.
Just transplant that to the same fucking situation because essentially that's what it is. And look, I don't hate Daniel Jones. Actually, I think he's kind of a buy candidate a little bit.
Well, only
because his price is because he's so fucking cheap and he does offer rushing upside at him. But let me just say this. I'm not entirely convinced even he holds off Drew Lock for an entire season. And if Drew Lock were to get in that thing, especially the Drew Lock I saw last year play against Philly and beat our ass, which like hurt my feelings.
You really, no wonder Mike's buying into this. Don't forget about that Drew Lock.
Jesus, that Drew Lock, I was like, Jesus, this version of Drew Lock is like what we all wanted and hoped for. He was slinging that fucking thing with confidence.
Sure.
He was playing with moxie. If he goes into New York and unseats Daniel Jones and he comes in with that same swagger and can kind of continue it along, you'll never hear from fucking Daniel Jones ever again. Ever.
Sure.
He'll be lost in the fucking abyss. And I'm not saying Drew Lock is the long-term answer for the Giants, but that Drew Lock will throw the fucking football down the field. So all of a sudden you go from Jalen Waddle's rookie year dump-offs and screens and fucking crossing routes to, the Drew Lock who's going to sling that fucking thing 60 yards down the field to Malik Nabers and let him try to make a play. Like, that's good for fantasy.
Sure.
It's really good.
Well, I just want to give context because, Mike, then you have, like, I mean, we're pretty damn excited about Zay Flowers. I think most people in Dynasty. And Zay Flowers gave you 858 and 5. I'm just trying to. I feel like maybe it's just certain people on X and certain, there's just maybe it's a smaller pocket of people than is actually real.
This
but
might be the
I've
first
just
time
seen.
where keep trade cut is right. This
All right.
might be the first time.
What do you?
And I think it might just be like Twitter that you're seeing, or like some negatives from other fucking people. Because
Right.
keep trade cuts, like Malik Nabers hasn't fucking moved since like he declared. Essentially, like he's been right at fucking 10, 9, 8, somewhere in that range the whole time.
Well, I think the thing is, this is starting to become this is a newer thing, and I think as redrafts maybe isn't there yet, but it's going to start becoming more and more redraft people thinking of scoring points. That you'll see maybe more of this type of conversation. But what do they have him at right now at wide receiver in Dynasty right now?
Keep trade cut, he's 8.
Well,
He's
yeah,
sandwiched between
I
Garrett
would
Wilson
say,
and A.J. Brown.
I would say that that's correct. He should definitely be top 10. If you want to put A.J. Brown ahead of him, he's got to be ahead of Olave in London.
Yeah.
Kind of curious what everyone else thinks down there in the chat about Malik Nabers and where you're at on him and his rookie season of production. Anyway, I felt like we had to do that, Mike. I feel like we had to at least talk about it.
Jen, why the fuck am I catching strays already? What are you doing?
He should be. Mike should always be catching strays. It's the Mike that I love and know most. Jen says Locke going to beat Eagles twice this year. Now, damn.
That's fucking harsh.
I don't even think that's strays. I think that you just kind of, threw the lob to her, And she just,
I guess.
She just happened to, we don't see too many times where the person throwing it also gets dunked on, but I feel like that's kind of what this one was. It's like in the dunk contest, Mike, if you just threw the lob straight up and then she just came and crammed on you. That was fantastic.
Yeah, fucking teabagged under the rim. I don't like this. It's not fun.
I'm happy, Jen. Keep it coming. Goated intro coming. Puke. The intro is not pukey, and let's give a shout out to Fizzle. I'll be on Fizzle Fridays on Friday. I've been waiting for it, excited for it, and I've been watching Mike and Fizzle just kill it on Fizzle Fridays. So make sure you're tapping into Fizzle Fridays. Great time, fantastic time. Let's see what we got here, question wise. How my boys doing? We're doing well. We just looked at a trade that you made in the trade show, and it was for the first time I think I can remember in a long time. It wasn't a completely,
you didn't
rape.
Destroy somebody.
Yeah,
that was nice. Thanks for being more level-headed, Mr.
There we
Wonderful.
go. Kyle's here with us, man. Kyle, appreciate you. If you want to hop on the show anytime, we would love to have you.
Just not with this question.
Just correct. The one quarterback thing, we can,
Good
one quarterback start 8, Mike, is I feel like I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. Go ahead.
Rome, Keon, late 25 first, and some trash, or Marvin Harrison Jr. Neither. I don't. It's fucking disgusting all the way around. I don't know. Is there really like fucking late 25 first in a start 8 one quarterback league? Like,
fuck it.
Who really gives a fuck? But like, is Keon and that and some trash? Like, is there that much of a difference between Rome and Marv for people still?
Well, my curiosity is what's the difference between trash and late 25 first? I kind of view them as the same, but and one quarterback start 8. But no, actually, Mike, I think the question for me is would make my lineup. So he currently has Bijan, Gibbs, Kyron, CD, Marvin Harrison. Wait a minute. He's going to tear down.
I don't know. No, it said would make his lineup, so he's already put.
Would make it. Okay, so this is going to take away Keon and Rome and put in Marvin Harrison, Waddle and Reed. So here's the thing for me. I can understand it, I guess. The only reason I can kind of understand it is if you think that Marvin Harrison is much more locked in and secured to a safer workload and floor and ceiling, obviously, as well, like week 1. But if I'm being completely honest, like, tearing up from Rome is not how I want to get to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna just sit on Rome then. Fuck
I'll
that.
also to that point, I'm completely fine getting off of Keon the late 25 first. If you get worse than that and it's trash, like I don't care about moving off of that. To be completely honest with you, in this format, I just don't want to go from Rome to Marvin Harrison this way. I will say, if you wanted to make this move because it's so shallow, I'm fine with it. That's not how I want to do it personally.
I wouldn't, and I'd much rather send something back that was like Jaden Reed Keon late 25 first and whatever the fuck else.
Of course,
want to,
I would
that fucker.
I'd rather send Waddle too.
Yeah, I guess I can't knock that one either. That's a good point.
I think that's what I would prefer to try at Kyle Pitts is, of course, keep yourself at tight end.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And keep Josh Allen at quarterback.
Yeah, you got the goats there. Does Waddle, Keon, late 25, and the trash get you to Marvin Harrison Jr.? If so, sign me up for that. I can't imagine the Reed thing actually would happen, but if it does,
I don't know.
If it does, Mike, and Kyle Pitts, please send that fucking thing right now in a heartbeat.
Dude,
also,
I just got a trade offer, and I don't know if I was stupid to smash reject it, but fuck it.
I mean, probably you must be drinking heavily already. The smash reject that fast is a little bit of a. I think Jen got to you, buddy, huh?
I think she did. She's still under my fucking skin. No, I'm just kidding.
Jen, keep coming with the effort, by the way.
What do you think about this?
Okay.
All right. So it's a playoff contenders first. So let me just preface that.
Okay.
That's the pick. But I sent away Caleb, Rome, speaking of Rome.
Okay.
And a contender-ish 25 first.
Caleb, Rome, and a 25 first late. Okay.
I get Pat Mahomes and Xavier Worthy back. Start 12 lineup.
Start 12?
Yeah.
So you were going to get Mahomes and Worthy, and you were going to send away Rome, Caleb, and a late first.
Yeah. I think I don't do that. This team also isn't competing, bro. It's really young.
I'll say
why I have Caleb in Rome.
It's not that unreasonable if you think highly of Worthy, for the record. I know you actually kind of do. You think a little higher of him than I like do. Now, we both don't have anywhere near Rome in the tier, but
no.
If you're able to get off of the uncertainty of Caleb to Mahomes, I'm pretty for that. But I will admit the Rome to Worthy already feels like a far drop, and then the first included is where you kind of lose me, right?
Yeah. Then you're just getting fucking greedy.
I would do that. I would honestly consider doing that straight up, though. You take the first out, and we go, it's Mahomes and Worthy versus Caleb and Rome. I think I'd be willing to do that in a start 12.
Go. I'm with you. Yeah.
Maybe just send that back. Here, this is where I'm at, you fucker.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
See if you really want to get younger.
Yeah, and if you want to come off of Mahomes. Otherwise, you can get the fuck out of my DMs, all right?
I love it.
Best ball question stack. Would you keep Caleb to go with your Adunze, or would you be comfortable trading him for Jaden straight up if possible?
Oh,
that's a great question. I think I would keep the stack. I personally don't. While I get wanting Daniels and the reason for him ahead of Caleb, I feel like in market, there's a little bit more meat on the bone for me to want to do this, especially if I have the stack personally. But I'm curious. I know you're Jaden ahead of Caleb, Mike, so I'm curious what you say here.
Fizz. Fuck that stack. Go get Jaden Daniels.
Damn, okay. I will say, like, it's pretty risky, but it's a go for the jugular move. If Jaden pops and he's him, could work out. I don't love doing it with the market value, but I get it. Where are we at here? All right, go ahead, Fizz. Just if you do bring that trade on the Fizzle Friday, just know I'll tell you straight up. Mike's not there to tell you how great it was. All right.
We got a counter.
Oh,
not a counter. We got another offer.
Is it realistic or no?
Now it's a first and a second swap. Like I get the second.
No, fuck you.
No, I'm good.
Do you have a second?
Yeah, I got plenty of picks. It's a fucking coming out of a rebuild team.
I'd do like I would do like I would maybe consider a second, third swap, but I think right now I play the alpha card. Like, no, this is my price.
I'm just setting it.
This is my price. I think you counter. I think you counter back with the exact same deal. Be like, this is where I'm at, and if you don't want it, you can leave.
I like it. So we're gonna get this fucker done on air, or we're not gonna get it done at all.
But the best part is, Mike, I would love to see if we get a second counter. So, like, let's say now that becomes a second and a third. I want to see how far this goes. It would be awesome. Keep it coming. Just posted a league to join on Discord. Come slay some fish, people.
There you go.
Mike, I've been noticing, like, it's tough for me this year, frankly. I see all these startups, and I'm kind of like a little bit of an alcoholic.
Forbidden.
Yeah, I'm like an alcoholic. Like I'm not allowed to go, right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing especially some of these South Harmon people getting into leagues with others like fishes, and it's like, no, it hurts, man. It really does hurt.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm keeping myself to 3 startups in the off season as a.
You don't understand the amount of bending over I had to do to fill your fucking.
Oh, I do. I do. I absolutely do. I remember posting all of them. Like, fuck, this isn't going to be an easy task.
I'm down like $500.
Well, I told you just to put it in the QuickBooks, man. Come on, I told you I'd pay it.
I'm fucking giving out free entries to Eric.
There's no way 500 for the record, but I get the point. There's certainly some fees you probably covered.
It's pretty fucking close.
Nice. Well, you're drinking, so I understand. I speak McNutted exaggeration. I really do.
It's in the ballpark.
Let's go this one. Jeremy B. 12-team Superflex PPR, half-point tight end premium. Lamar Burrow, Olave Higgins, Odunze, Downs, Wicks, Ramondre, Spears, Javante, Eckler, Hawkinson. Have all my picks. Any moves?
Just for the record, you get much better team review on Dynasty team reviews. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah, well,
but we'll give you the drunk quick one.
Coop and I are going to do one tomorrow. I have my daughter all day tomorrow, so I'm doing it when she's down for a nap. So I hope she actually takes a nap. Otherwise, it won't really be happening.
There you go.
But I love doing the team reviews. Let's do a quick, not a team review, but just a quick little, idea combo here. What are we thinking?
Sure thing. All right. Any moves? Spears, fuck off. Hawkinson, fuck off.
I just don't know what Spears actually nets you in the trade, and I'm 100% with you with Hawk as well. Can you get out of Hawkinson and get to Ingram plus or something like that, right? Can I actually get off of Hawkinson for someone reasonable?
Yeah.
I also say, Mike, I think if there's any hype building up on Wicks, can I liquidate Wicks for a second? I've seen a lot of these people saying second round pick for Wicks. I'm good on that.
Spears is an easy one because there's so many disrespected 1-year bet running backs that you can get a fucking third
down tier,
and I'm in.
There you go.
I'm in.
One thing, Jeremy,
you don't even got to be greedy. If you get a fucking second, you're in. Like
he put start 10 for the record.
Yeah,
sorry.
Fuck yeah.
Start 10. Yeah, he's got to go. All them running backs can go.
You can keep the running backs if you want because he's got Lamar, he's got Burrow, he's got some receivers. Like he has running back bodies. Mm-hmm. Like he's fine if he wants to go in and try to run it.
I'm just meaning that like if you can actually liquidate, I'm good. Or if you can tear down from Spears, I'm good too, right?
But Spears is the most likely candidate. And when I say like you can get producers for 1 year, like who's the fuck to say you can't trade Tajay Spears for James Conner in a third? Like that deal probably gets done in most leagues.
I would say 90% of the time people take that.
Shit, you might even get a second out.
I was going to say the third as an ask feels low. I think I would start with a second, honestly.
I'm just going bottom fucking dollar for Germ here.
I get you.
The Hawkinson thing, like Jesus, I love him. He's on the fucking. He's back here. Adam made a nice little fucking thing for. He's right there. Thumb will get it over. Yeah, nailed it right there.
Yeah, you should have seen what that cost me, but that's all right. Who's counting?
Who's counting? How about that Nick Chubb jersey behind you fucking ass? No.
Look at that thing, huh? Pretty good looking.
Yeah, but Hawk, like Jesus Christ, I'll take any kind of like tear down at tight end for a guy who's not going to play for 8 weeks easily, and then we don't really know what he does when he comes back. I love him as a fucking player, but for 2024, like you're fucked. You're fucked.
I think I also might
Ingram and Njoku, whatever.
Right.
Like, there's so many fucking tight ends out there. Goddard, Pat Freiermuth, if you want to bet on a rebound. Like, can you get Pat Freiermuth in a second for Hawk? I would say yes.
I was going to say, Mike, what I probably actually do, especially considering only half tight end premium, last point, if I can't get someone that I think replaces that Hawkinson spike at tight end, so if I can't get an Ingram or an Njoku or a Kittle probably, fuck the whole position. We're going liquidate Hawk if I can. I don't need any of these turds back. I'll start K. Dotton types. Go all the way down, play the A-Warp tight end life, and then re-roll Hawkinson into a positional playmaker, which you need here. I'll tell you another thing I would actually consider doing, Mike, is I don't really love to get off of two high-end quarterbacks like this and they start 10, but depending on whoever has Dak in this league, like I think Burrow to Dak down tier. We're gonna talk about that a little heavier, but I think that'd be another way to get some really nice value back. For the record, like Dak and Burrow, there's 4 years difference between the two of them. The only difference is that Dak has done it at a higher clip and more consistent,
and more often.
Right. So, it's not a Joe Burrow diss. It's more of a Dak is disrespected. But those are some ideas. That's enough to get your whistle wet there. All right, Jerm. Appreciate it.
Is that even going to be the most egregious one? I mean, for those of you who don't know, we started doing shorter videos with heavy video editing, thanks to Brian and his incredible skills. So tomorrow we resurrected a long dead series of ours, name brand, off brand, and I think, Adam, we were most egregious with the very first one we fucking picked. Comes out tomorrow at noon Eastern, so go check that one out. But
tap that.
Your Dak Burrow thing, like I don't think like on the what the fuck? We just had this like weeks ago. What do they call that? Geiger counter on the nuclear meter. Like you're just in the. It's not the. The real bad one.
But the best part is, like, I'm excited to do that episode because you might be surprised. You might be surprised where the finger pop will get you. But some people have the ringer pop. The ring pop. We got the finger pop.
I got to throw the finger pop into a name brand, off brand sometime.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get that done. I've got some headshots of Mike. You're just getting started with what you're seeing with the faces.
Hey, why do your headshots never make it on here too? You got some.
I will for sure, but just to let you know, it's hard to get when you want to make them big. 2 players and Mike and me. True. So
I got a big fucking head.
Can I tell you this, by the way? Like, when you want to know levels of ridicule, okay? When you leave yourself off and you're the one getting shit, like it's a tough place to work over here where Mike's a high level of criticism. But I love it actually because it makes sense. It's what I expect. What's up with Theo? Is this a real thing?
Who?
Theo Johnson, tight end? Yeah, I know. We don't care about them no more, but...
What did Koopa call him? A blocking tight end? Next?
That was actually awesome. I forgot about that on the draft day.
That's all he is?
This might have cut off your train of thought if you had some... I think you were going to throw a shot at me. Yeah, I want to hear it at least.
No, I was going to throw you a compliment, you asshole.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Now I'll throw the shot.
I expect the shots. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll take a compliment.
I was going to say, I do so much stuff with you, like to see myself on the thumbnail without my security blanket, Adam, hey, where's my guy? The fuck ain't he on here?
By the way, I appreciate that, but also pause. I know you do a lot of stuff with me. But
shut up. Everybody knows we fucking cuddle big spoon, little spoon.
Oh, yeah. If you're at the Expo, you'll... By the way, real quickly, on that note, not to cuddle, although we will if you want us to. Come to the Expo if you want to come check it out. Honestly, one of the best times that you could ever have at the Expo. We have the shit house for a full week this year, which I'm not exactly sure. Mike, I might have to be going back and forth to the crib a little bit. I have a new daughter going to be expected at the end of July, so this will be interesting to see how it works out. But make sure if you want to go check out the Expo. It's in Canton, Ohio. The Expo is a blast. The time, the people at the shit house. Like, I couldn't recommend an event much more strongly that is worth whatever it takes to get to Canton.
Hey, I gave all the Savage members, all the pregame poopers, their due diligence. Yep. But we are at the end of the month, and that sign-up sheet is not full. And now we're opening it up to the rest of the Discord. Yep. So if you want to come stay with us and hang out with us, by all means. By all
dollar tier, you're in. So go if you want to stay and have honestly one of the best times you're going to, come incredible. Do that.
Fizz,
well worth it.
Me,
by the way,
meat.
Goodness, we are going there. Jesus, just pretend that you didn't hear any of that. And 12 team, start 10, Superflex PPR, no tight end premium. What is up with the no tight end premiums? Like, the tight end premiums don't even matter. So we know the no tight end premiums are just, gosh.
It's not a one quarterback start 8. All right, count our blessings.
Fair. Hurts, Kyler, Brisket, backups. CMC, ETN, Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Waddle, Diggs, DK, Evans, Cooper, Deontay, McBride, 103, 107, 325, 326. This is outrageous, team. Leaning Nabers 103, trade 107. I got no problem with that. I think with these two quarterbacks, I can understand it. 103 for me, it's like so hard to not take Daniels, but especially with the last 4D we did, which I think it's coming out Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tap in Friday if you see Mike starting to make a slight change, and not going all the way away from it, but just making
just
a bigger tier. He's not backing off. He's just saying the receivers are more valuable, the three in particular, Nabers, Rome, and Marv. So I can understand this. 107, trade 107? I mean...
No. With the 107, I'm taking my third quarterback.
I think that's what I was just going to say.
I'm not fucking rolling Jacoby Brissett as my only third option. I understand you have other backups.
Right.
But I'm not putting myself in that fucking scenario if Hurts or Kyler were to go down. Or during bye weeks, I don't want to miss a beat. So 107's a fucking quarterback all day, every day for me right there.
Yeah, if I'm doing
or
it, though...
Rome, if the rest of your league is stupid.
Yeah, no chance. But if it is 100% smash, that's Rome. I'll say this. If I was trading it, though, what I would like to do is go from 107, which is going to be a McCarthy, let's say. Can I trade that for Baker plus? But the point is, to what Mike said, I'm taking a quarterback 3 probably with my 107, unless Rome falls. So if I'm going to trade it, can I get somebody that wants to pay up for the age of McCarthy? And can I actually, reap some reward to go safe at the quarterback position? That's the only way I'm trading 107 probably, is to get myself a secure quarterback 3 that doesn't have to cost a fortune to lean into this really great team that you have here. I'll say that this team's pretty damn good, given it a little older on the receiver, but I like where this team's at.
Other than the ETN Jacobs thing. Both guys, one Thomas shit on, the other one I shit on. So if you watched last week, the two-parter, since Adam's like, I don't know what he did to YouTube, where they're like, fuck you.
Bro, I've never seen... We've okay, listen, we had the Debro Cabin Fever whole episode, Rookie Fever, right? Yep. Where it died 9 minutes. I'm convinced that there's nothing that anyone could have done other than YouTube told us to fuck off, because the stream kept running fine for a long time. It just YouTube said no, and Elon's like, yeah, we'll still take your money. So who knows? Anyway, I hope that helps you out, Jesus.
Trade ETN and Jacobs.
If you want to skip the line, I'm starting to get some questions backfilled. If you want to skip the line, don't be afraid to super chat, but we will answer all the questions as we can. Let's get into this here. He said, most likely McCarthy. Should I trade for more future picks? What's the minimum deal? 25. I think we touched on this already. I'd rather secure a quarterback 3 in a plus. Like I just don't feel that confident with Brissett as my only quarterback 3. I know some people would rather play the whole waiver wire and stream. I'm personally not there. Not that you can't do that. That's just not my style.
McCarthy or Drake May, whoever you get there, is very safe.
Fair.
Anyways. Insulated for 2 years.
What up, DB? My bad, I didn't even see you pop in here. DB is almost always here. I love that he just will sit there. And DB GOAT. Well done. Tyler says, got the trade from Mike in Fizzle Show last week. Brian Thomas and a projected to late 25 first for Brees and Cup.
Brian Thomas or Cup? It's a wash.
Sure. I'd take Thomas.
You want the youth, right? Like the upside of the youth. But 2 late first for Brees Hall, like in most formats.
Right.
Adam, we just did the fucking trade show where you got Brees Hall.
I mean,
he's a dude. He's one of the dudes you make the exception for, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brees Hall.
I'll say typically I'd rather not send liquidity in bunches like this, but if you know that they're late and they're 90% late, I'm willing to make my bet on Brees Hall. He's that type of a dude. So
if you told me that was Jonathan Taylor instead of Brees Hall,
I'm not doing
an idiot. That was a terrible deal.
Hurts, Baker, Nix, Kamara, Brees. Let's put Brees in front of Kamara for the record. But Diggs, Debo, Terry, Kelsey, Cup, Jacoby, and Jerome is sitting his starting lineup. Any other moves you'd look at right now with 3 more 25 first in 2 seconds? Probably no, because I don't think you're going to end up being able to truly get some type of smash deal with those 3 first. I'd probably rather roll this team out, keep myself in the mix, and then make a massive splash with those 3 first when the time is right. What do you got there, the Zim?
Yeah, Pello said whip out the Zim. I'm sure he meant to spell it Zin, but that's okay.
No, it might have been one of those, autocorrect as you send it through. But can we see that again? What's the millies on this?
Just a six.
Milli?
Just a 60.
Oh, that's a nice little healthy. That's like a little
We're going easy. That's a daily.
daily 6. Okay.
Daily 6.
Is six the lowest you go on the Zins?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no point.
I've seen like the 4s or the 2s, right?
Yeah, I don't do that. I mean,
I'm
going
to tell you straight up, whatever you're doing, if I was to throw them in, I'm not going to that level. I'm just curious where you're at. Okay.
Well, I'll bring some very mild ones to the Expo, and you can.
Yeah, I'll throw it in. I don't want to have this, 5 minutes in, what you saw Mike doing on the 66 millis. My head's spinning and I'm ready to go for the toilet.
I'd have to give you a lot of money in cash to do that because I feel bad.
No, you couldn't. There's nothing you could do. I've seen what happened to you with that. I know I'd probably end up dying.
But listen, anybody who comes to the Expo stays at the shit house. By all means, I'll have a 66 on me if you feel like you're big enough, you're strong enough. Toss it in.
In a 12,
this goes.
In a 12-team Superflex half PPR, I traded 105, 112, and 211 for the 102. I'm 99% sure it's Marvin Harrison Jr. Win.
How many starters?
Yeah, I don't have the rest of the context. Also, I thought I saw Adam at my local casino last weekend. You didn't. Now, if about 5 years ago, I'd put high odds that was me. I don't even know when the last time I've been to a real casino. It'd been a long time.
It's been a while for me too, man. I haven't been to a casino in last year.
Go?
I mean, no, it was I went on that cruise with my old man.
Mike was on a boat. That's right.
I was on a boat, so there's a casino on the boat on the cruise. I won all kinds of money too playing 3-card poker, which is incredible. But I can't ever find 3-card poker at like normal casinos, at least around here.
When I was more of the bachelor days, living up in Cleveland, I used to go to that casino far too often. But it doesn't happen.
It changes anymore. When you know.
Yeah.
Kids and content.
Mike, if I had the free time that I do have, literally it's the last thing on my mind is like, let's go up to the casino and then gamble.
Yeah. Let me just take a nap instead.
Although I would love to see BC if you guys are out ever and you see a doppelganger in me, go ahead and take a pic. We'd love to see that on like Discord or something.
BC, depending on like the starting lineup. If it's like start 9, I guess I could be for it. If it's like start 11, start 12, if it's a fucking best ball, it's an L, a big L.
Lineup, I'm pretty comfortable. This though goes back, Mike. Can I tell you? This goes back very similarly to the question. This is almost the same fucking question as the one quarterback one, where it was a tier up from Rome to Marv. Because this is what I see here. That's probably Rome at 105. 112 is very much like Keon. And the 211 is much like a fucking late first and 25 class.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it in a lineup start 10. The way I'd like to get to Marvin Harrison Jr. is not to come off of Rome in the process. Is the
not to
way
come
I'd
off
say
other rookies in the elite tier.
The one thing I'll say, though, is if you do prefer Marv and you like the landing spot and all that, the 112 and the 211 is not enough for me to say no to. It's just I'd like to try to reformat the way I'm getting there in this value.
Adam, it's half PPR too, which
the one you know what's funny is that's the way I've always thought about it. This is why I shout out to Warp. Definitely go check the Warp on it. More often than not, the half PPR is lower. You see that blue line for receivers go down. But you'd be surprised, Mike. I'm in a couple half PPRs where it's like, this is half PPR. What'd you do to the other fucking positions? Obviously there's reasons for it. But yeah, I'm with you though.
Speaking of Warp,
yeah,
I think in the last couple of weeks, because Underdog is really cranking up. Shout out to everybody doing Best Ball Mania. I see everybody in the Discord posting it. I haven't started mine yet because I do have to travel to another more progressive state to start my drafts and deposit money.
Mike talks about Iowa like it's 100 years ago. We're there.
This might as well be the fucking Amish, man. This might as well be the fucking Amish. So I haven't started mine yet, but I tell you, like, a lot of the content is really kicking up too, just in the space. And I do enjoy listening to it because I do like a redraft perspective too, to go with the Dynasty part, because there are vast differences, right? Like, some guys are going in round 3 of a redraft league that you won't fucking see till round 10 of a Dynasty league. Like, that's That's how crazy some of the separation is. And I like to spot those like differences, what the redrafters think. But the one thing that drives me fucking nuts is knowing warp and knowing underdog, where it's no tight end premium and it's half point PPR. It's just like how many people talk about tight ends like they fucking matter at all. And I'm like, if there's any fucking format where tight ends don't matter, it's your underdog best ball. Stop fucking drafting tight ends before round 15. I don't give a fuck. Like, wait till the end and just take 3. Who gives a shit?
Mike, there was a video going to be coming out for Andrew's channel on the league, right? He does some content with BDG. So he has a bunch of people that do content making each pick in a slow draft. And
For
underdog.
sure. That motherfucker gave me the 18th pick. Like, what an asshole.
I was going to tell you, Mike, I was going to tell you, I'm the 12th for the record. But can I tell you, you're going to need to pick a tight end, I think, because I just in the 12th said, there's not a fucking chance I'm taking a tight end here. And he was already like, I hope some of these people take a tight end because I could give a
Stop
fuck.
it, Trip Crown.
I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck about tight ends and the underdog
Tell me
format.
you don't sub to the warp tool without telling me you don't sub to the warp tool. It's that fucking comment right there.
I'm going to pull that up in a minute. There was something I wanted to get to. The I'll cuddle. Oh, yeah. Jen wants to know if we share a king bed at the Airbnb. No, I get my own king. Mike does try to sneak in and cuddle with me, though, which happens quite often. But
no, we usually share a twin.
Right. If we're sharing, it's not going to be a king. What's the point of that? It's
That's too much room.
Right. It doesn't. That defeats
Bunch
the
of
whole
wasted
purpose.
Space.
By the way, Mike, I had to put this part in here. This is such a McNutted type thing, or me when I'm drunk. Sorry, I'm a tad under the influence this evening. So he corrects it by adding his team in, but look what he does. I forgot to add the 105, 112, 211 for the 105 this time. So this time he screws up the 102, which was the whole part of this. BC, you're one of us. I love it. All right. So his team is Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, and Aiden O'Connell. Wide receivers are DJM, Pittman, Puka, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm willing to do it. I think I would prefer, though, to see BC if I could remove 105 and like what receiver would you rather trade off of this team than Rome himself? Is it DJ Moore is the only one?
Yeah, DJ Moore, his teammate.
Can you send DJ Moore there? Right.
Yeah.
If not, I'd still make it here because your receivers are pretty set. And if you want to go ahead and make this big splash play for Harrison, I get it.
Yeah, I'm still sorry, Trip Crown. I'm still taking all the fucking tight ends at the last 3 picks because they still don't matter.
I love it.
I don't care that there's not waivers. They still don't fucking matter.
Trip
I'm
Crown,
find fucking 2 turds out of there that are gonna have weeks.
Trip Crown, I need you to
do it every year.
I need you to tell me though. Do you subscribe to the Warp Tool? Because you're doing everything but answering it for me.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it, man. Self-promotion and shade.
Mike,
it's awesome.
We kill a lot of birds with one stone.
It's like 4 birds right there.
How do you guys speak about the wide receiver room in Green Bay? Feel, obviously. What do you see as the one, and what would you be willing to pay for them? I'll just tell you this. I don't, to this point, Gerard, this is one of the things that I will openly admit. There's a lot of things that I'm shitty at, okay? It's just the truth. That's why we call it South Harmon. Shit. But I'm not going to try to pretend that I have this, if Mike's glasses were on my face and I have this fucking future cast that just doesn't exist. Good luck. You want to predict that? I'm not Matt Harmon even. Like that's not my specialty, so I can't tell you. I think there's such a range of outcomes. And the reality is this is why I'm more comfortable than anything selling most of them, unless it's like, you can't get anything for Wicks or you can hardly get anything for Romeo Doubs. Then I'll just keep them. But overall, if I have somebody willing to pay up for Christian Watson in a reasonable range, like a early second in this class or a late first type value, he's gone. Because it could be Watson. It could be Jaden Reed. It could be Romeo Doubs. It could be, who knows? Maybe one of these tight ends isn't the one, but the tight ends make it really murky and you don't want any of them. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not willing to pay up for any of them. I'm more in the seller's market for all of them, frankly, Mike.
If they all hypothetically had the same ADP, right? If they all had the same dynasty value.
Oh, okay. Let's play the game.
My bet would be on Christian Watson just because he's the most explosive out of all of them. Right? Like, all things considered, his ceiling is the highest if he can put together a fully healthy season, which I don't necessarily know is the case. I'm kind of with you though, Adam. Like at their current cost, with Reed being elevated and now Christian Watson. Oh, he saw a fucking specialist in Madison about his hamstrings, and one was 26% fucking less than whatever the fuck that was. Like any of those guys, whatever the fuck they're at now, it's probably too high. Like the Dontavian Wicks thing got out of fucking hand. So like the true answer is, if I'm making a bet on him, Bo Melton, Malik Heath in best ball, like give me the free shit. Romeo Dobbs, if people hate him, one of the tight ends, I don't give a fuck. I feel good about the whole room because there's a lot of fucking talent in there, but I'm lying to you if I could tell you I can predict who's going to be the number one.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, if they were all equal,
you would bet Watson.
I would bet Watson.
See, and if all things were equal, I would bet Reed. I'll acknowledge, though, that there's a difference in how it comes to fruition. When Watson was healthy, he was playing a lot of the 85, 90+% snaps. He does, to Mike's point, have massive upside capture weekly. Reed, to me, if his snap share goes up, which is the big if, and it may not actually go up. If his snap share was to go up, we could be looking at a absolute unit in this offense. But part of the reason I'm not super bullish is because I don't know that he ends up getting really much higher than that 65, 70% of the snaps. He plays a lot in the slot. They could be running a lot of 12 personnel, especially with them tight ends. So Reed would be my bet, but again, I don't feel like I'm not going to the casino to go make that bet. Not going back for the first time in a while.
Pass.
Hold up. When I take Nabers at 103 in a live mock, I get torched. But when Buddy wants to do it, you're all for it. He's going to – apparently it's me that said no about this 103. And he wants to take my other Achilles out that Rip couldn't do last year. And that's fine, Corey. I will allow – now that you've graduated twice, once from South Harmon and once from supposedly real school. I don't know if we call it that. But you're a grown man now. And you're going to have some things coming your way too if you want to play that type of ball. All right?
Adam wasn't the one who ripped you. I ripped you. And so did the other.
That's why I'm like, why am I getting – thrown under the. I see what's happening here. It's okay, Corey. You want to come at me? We'll play that game.
But also, Adam prefaced this by saying we did 4D this week, and we dove into hit rates, which DB updated for 5 years, the last 5 draft classes, right? And he updated a few other things, which we talk about on the episode. And like Adam told you, Mike is a little bit more tolerant of Malik Nabers.
We got him to see the light. It took a long time, but we got him to see the light.
A little bit.
Well, I'm not saying you backtracked off of your stance. I'm just saying you saw the light of where I was coming from.
You just never catch me doing it.
Sure.
Like it's fine. It's like riding a unicycle. For some people, it fucking ain't for me.
See, as we get going on AMA, I just love it. We're almost an hour in. Mike starts it's like riding a unicycle. God, the things you never expect to hear on AMA.
So you got ripped back when I had no interest in riding a unicycle, and now I have some interest.
I'll say this, though, Corey.
That's because I am his roomie. So we're
it's all right.
For life.
I just need to find someone else to go play at Firestone with me. I had them all queued up, ready to go. He had his chance to play at Firestone. He ruined it.
It ain't going to be me. I don't golf.
And now, if you want to take my Achilles out, I can understand it. But
except for that one at the bars with the little ball that you like really aggressively push up. What's that?
Oh, like, Golden Tee?
Golden Tee. I'll play fucking Golden Tee.
See, that's how you speak McNutted, all right? Like, I know what he's trying to say. Most people will be like, what the fuck?
I got you.
You flip it. Golden Tee is a fun-ass game, though. I'll tell you that, too. I love playing Golden Tee as well. We could definitely play some Golden Tee.
There's, like, professional leagues. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, yeah. People take that shit serious.
Like, for real fucking money. Which
is why at a lot of those bars, you'd be surprised what you have to pay with inflation nowadays to even get the thing to turn on. It's fucking stupid.
Even get there?
I'm like at this point, we should just go to the range or go play. I mean, it's insane how much it costs. It was like $5 an hour the last time I was playing it.
Golly.
Let's see.
You can go bowling for cheaper.
Hold up. There was a good question here. Damn.
Walrus is back in here. By the way, Walrus moved countries. So we will get Walrus back on once he's settled into his new country real soon.
Wait, where's new country? Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Listen, I'm not going to look, Walrus. I'm not going to look what you told me. I'm pretty sure it was El Salvador.
Wow. By the way, I am drinking some of the gift. It's almost gone. I was just telling people Walrus today. I'm drinking the Garrison Brothers. I pulled it out, and it's almost gone. I love it. It's good shit.
I'm saving my half bottle for when Walrus is back.
That's smart. I'll tell you what. I'll save at least some for when Walrus is back because it's very good.
Motherfucker, it was El Salvador. I had to look at the DM.
That's a pretty good pool.
Oh, what a pull.
Here, Eric Frank with a content question. As two friends that started a podcast together, asking this question, right? I mean, I feel like that. Yeah, it's like the show. This is us. I want to start a podcast with my friend where we talk Dynasty for an hour or so for fun. What's the best way to get started? Well, first of all, if you have that already going, it's so easy to do now. Now, I'll just tell you what happened and how South Harmon was started, Eric, with probably not necessarily the best way to do it, but how we did it. We didn't want to pay the RSS feed for any feed, right? So, like, you know what we'll do is we'll start a Patreon. We'll make it as low as we can, $1 a month. And if you want to listen, you listen. I would say probably the best way to do it is go search different RSS feeds. I
think there's some free ones out there now too.
Is there?
We've been doing this, yeah. Some free ones you can get.
There you go.
Where they essentially, I mean, they're technically free. Okay, like you don't pay anything, but it says like this podcast is sponsored by, and they automatically
they're using sponsors to pay for your podcast.
Yes, automatically, but you don't have to pay anything up front, so you can do that one. Patreon's always a good thing. But for me and Adam, that's exactly how we started, where I was just tired of fucking DMing him on Discord, to be completely honest. My thumbs hurt.
We didn't have each other's numbers at the time. We met in the Destination Debbie Discord, and we literally...
I didn't even know what this fucking guy looked like.
Well, we did a podcast for a long time not knowing what the fuck this guy looked like and vice versa. I would say, though, Eric, I think probably doing the Patreon first is not the true best way to do it. If you ask me what the best way to get started, I would see about getting an RSS feed. If you want to pay for one, they're not very expensive, or you can go the route if you can find a free one where they put sponsor ads on your, podcast to start. That's what I would do. All you got to do is do that. Mike and I bought some pretty decent mics, Blue Yetis, relatively cheap mics, right? You don't need to have a whole lot of investment though. And I think the best thing is, if you feel this way, make the little bit of investment, whatever it's going to be, right? You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to go get Shure mics or go balls to the wall, but just get started. The best way, I think, is actually to get started, and you'll start to feel out, like, how much do you enjoy it? How much are people listening to it? Is there something here? Do you just keep it as a hobby? Mike and I never anticipated ever. Like, my entire life has changed, brother. Like, I never anticipated doing this. Like, I thought we would just, do that drunk, basically Wednesday AMA with each other for, every day, once a week, every year,
Listen, I still have no idea why all of you are here. I thank you.
I do.
Really appreciate
because Mike sometimes will throw a 66 in on fucking stream, and we yell at each other a lot and talk shit.
I appreciate everybody being here, but I still have no idea. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, Eric. If you just start it with good intentions, right? I just want to talk to my buddy about Dynasty, and we're going to do it in podcast form because, fuck it, if anybody listens to us, great, and if they don't, we don't give a shit. We're still just having fun. And keep that same energy. That's the best way to do it. Some people start this shit because they want to be famous or they want to fucking be somebody in the space. I get it. It's an end goal to have, and good for you if you have it, but listen, Adam and I have always done this because we fucking enjoy it, and we're going to continue to do it because we fucking enjoy it. It's not a grind. Some days are longer than others, right? There's some parts of doing this that suck. Sure. They really do. Yeah. But in reality, once that fucking intro hits, for me, the shades are on, the alcohol's forming, I have the time of my fucking life. Wednesday nights are the best night of the fucking week for me. So
yeah,
keep that kind of same energy, Eric, and you'll fucking go wherever the hell you decide that you want to take it.
Yeah, make sure you're keeping the fun there and keeping perspective on it, and you'll have a blast doing it. By the way, Fantasy God, if it was, please understand that there's no disrespect to you. We have a lot of fun with people in chat. If something happened, if it's the last week though, there's a good chance that it was because of the whole YouTube debacle possibly. So,
But I'm looking at it, right? Like, thank you, YouTube, for keeping track of them. It started with fellas, comma. All right, so that's a good one. You
I like
address
it.
us as fellas.
Sure.
Bo Nix is a complete fade, in my opinion. Listen, I respect your opinion, but you talk bad about my boy Bo Nix, who's my most rostered quarterback in fucking Dynasty, you can fuck off.
No, wait. No, I mean, well, I'm not going to tell you to fuck off. Appreciate the super chat. Mike, I know, feels that way. I have a lot of reservations about Bo Nix, but the problem is his cost is also pretty unreasonable. So I see both sides of it. Fantasy God, though, if you could, give us what you want us to talk about specifically about it, because I'll tell you right now, I don't think Mike has any problem talking Bo Nix, even though I feel like we did it quite a bit last week. But I'll happily give you your super chat earned.
Most of these Savage members are in here know how much shit I gave him about Bo Nix, especially Dynasty Barry. I don't know what DB had him as like fucking QB.
Can I tell you?
Like he was better than QB1.
He actually had him really hot. But Mike, DB and I had I shit you not, a 6-hour call after day 1 or 2. I forget. Maybe it might have been day 3. And it was about Penix. And can I tell you, it led to having to convince him, which felt like a chore, because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing having Penix in the 3rd round? Like, that's how it kind of started. And it was actually similar to Fantasy God. Like, he wasn't sure if I was really throwing shade or not. By the way, if you know anything about me, the more shade I'm throwing your way, it's actually the opposite of what you might think. That probably means I fuck with you or got love for you is really all that means. Like, Mike and I love to throw some jabs that most people would be like, dude, do these guys even like each other? That's just is what we do, all right? So please don't feel disrespected.
With your perfect beard.
Thank you. But, yeah, I had to cut it off. I got to tell you, I'm starting to see it all over the place. People are having a lot of fun with that baby face picture.
It was
rough. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun time for me either, all right?
You literally look like a penis.
I mean, I don't think I don't look like a penis now. I just have a lot of pubes, you know?
And shout out to all the women in the entire world that, like, are forced to look at penises.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so bad for you. They're hideous.
I don't
even like the look of my own.
Some people, Mike, get in it for the wrong reasons, and they look at a lot of them. That's called OnlyFans. But
why don't they subscribe? Oh, I only do feet pics.
This is about where we're getting off the rails to the point where it could just get insane. Fantasy God, if you don't mind, put it in the chat so we can give you your super chat discussion.
Yeah, run it back.
Be happy
run it back,
to.
Fantasy
Be happy
God.
to, my guy. Be happy to. All right, sorry. Oh, no, we did that one already. How about this?
But you had a 6-hour discussion with DB about Michael Penix.
Oh, and it led
Wrap
to
the story up.
It led
to the Dave Chappelle
it led to him.
Box.
Yeah, it led to him actually like coming around. Pause on Michael Penix, and Mike. It led to me having to go so deep in discussion of it and like all the details and kind of like him giving me. I need to hear more fact than opinion. Shit, I was in great shape to go do a video on Michael Penix. So a lot of times, like Fantasy God, believe me when I tell you, we hear you and we listen to. I think Mike and I both come from a place when we make content, it comes from a spot of wanting to give context to the people that are actually playing the game and a part of the community and talk about things that like need to at least be discussed from certain lenses. So
they do. It's crazy. I'm the biggest Bo Nix hater there fucking was, and now like I draft Bo Nix every time in rookie drafts. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, I saw your roster shit's insane too.
I still don't think he's like that great. But I can't deny that he got taken in the first round at 12 overall to Denver.
Hey, yo, hold on. Corey, I'm going to put it back up. But Jen, I'm convinced Jen has Mike's number tonight. This is fucking amazing.
Jen's a fucking savage.
Hey, yo, Jen, just keep tapping in, man. Jen Stahl is becoming a favorite of mine in one single day.
Good Lord.
Who's Penix? God, they're really... It's fantastic stuff. 2 months away from seeing you beauties again. Fucking hate y'all more than I could ever imagine. Can't wait to kiss you in the back alley of George's. Oh, that reminded me to say this too. This year, not only we have it for a week, last year was having a hard time like getting the blend of trying to capture the fun as a part and being a part of the fun. This year, we got it covered. Got someone coming to basically be a casual standby person to record and capture all of it. So it's going to be a blast, man. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be fun.
Mike,
it's going to have to be highly edited.
Well, believe me, it will be. The AMA that we do after the shit house, do not miss it. Trust me. There's going to be a gem in there. I promise y'all.
Yeah. There's going to be a good one in there, I bet.
All right.
Listen, I can't wait to we're going to figure it out, Adam, but we're going to have like an NCAA 25 tournament. Like at the Expo.
Oh, I like that.
The real life. We're going to use, if I remember right, Gary had a projector We didn't use last year, but he had a
Yeah,
good size,
he had
high quality
in
projector.
the gymnasium.
Yeah, we'll bust that thing out and let's hook up the old PS5 or Xbox or whatever the fuck we got there and play some NCAA.
For sure.
And let's have a fucking tourney.
Yeah, we can do that. Remember, it is in August, and that gymnasium is not AC'd,
We
which
got
is part of the
big
reason.
ass fans.
Now, I'm not saying we can't do it there, but if it's like super uncomfortable and people want to cry, we can do it in a different room.
Even if we don't, we also saw that we can move couches. We're very good. We have a good move crew of moving couches and chairs into like one air-conditioned room, so we can get like 20, 30 people in there, all sweaty. It's awesome. It's
a blast. It's a lot of sweat. It's a lot of shit. I may have missed it. Are people doubling down on selling Nico? I'm going to sell him even harder now.
Is it? Can I say me? Like, if this fucking contract was the thing to like swing you on Nico, then fuck yeah, come buy all the Nico I got.
Well, what? Okay, so let me ask you then. Let's pull up Keep Trade Cut real quick. And Fantasy God, please give us a little more of the context we'll talk about. So I do want to make sure you feel that you got your super chat earned. All right, I want to talk about this.
I want to make sure that you feel fulfilled and satisfied.
I'm normally not very good at that. Mike is much better.
I take the time.
See, Mike, he does. He every crevice.
In before fucking Jed buries me again.
All right, Nico right now on Keep Trade Cut, Mike. Let's take a look at where he stands. So he's at 17, wide receiver 17. So it's
still not egregious though.
It's
all right.
I will say you have Pittman ahead of him though, correct?
Yeah, by a long shot.
How about Nico or Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith. Ayuk, easily.
Okay. Waddle.
Either or.
Same picture?
I don't really care. Yeah. I don't really care.
I think he's actually pretty appropriately priced, frankly. I'll say Tyreek Hill just is the one that just does not fit this. It's the age garbage.
I would look more like what's below him, Adam. Like,
well, Pittman was the only one I saw. You would take him ahead of DJ Moore, or would you take DJ Moore?
I'd take Pittman ahead of DJ Moore. Nico or DJ Moore?
Yeah. I know you'll take Pittman ahead of him. Yep.
I think I'd take Nico ahead of DJ Moore, to be honest.
I will too. I think the contract though, Mike, it's a little bit of a boost for me. Now, I
a little.
To me, Nico without the contract, I probably would have leaned DJ Moore hesitantly, like reluctantly. Now I think I'll do Nico. How about Zay Flowers or Nico?
Man, Matt Harmon really loves him some Zay Flowers, and
he also loves him some Nico though. You seen this?
It is.
He loves him some Nico.
But it is so fucking hard to not listen to Matt Harmon talk about Zay Flowers and me not to get stupid about it, because I got a fucking Zay Flowers helmet. Yeah, there you go.
There it is. BC, Boston College.
Look at that fucker. You can see that fucker back there. It's so hard for me to not to like just lose my shit over Zay Flowers. So 50-50? Is that okay to say? 50-50 on those two?
Yeah, I mean that's perfectly fine. Well, first of all, you can say whatever you want, buddy. This is your rankings. By the way, BC, the BC helmet, the fact that you're drunk enough to continually misspell like this, you need to be at the fucking Expo, my person.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Just hit us up on Discord. Get into the Discord. Hit us up. We'll get you all set up, man. Please trust me. You will not want to. Fizzle was a little unsure, for the record. All right, about coming to the Expo. I convinced him, and it'll just never go back to how it was. Trust me on this. If you have an opportunity like this, please go. Please go. Please, you will not regret it. I promise.
You don't know how many people I talked to at the Expo. We had like a fucking blast. I didn't even know what the fuck their name was. And then like later on, you find out. You remember Jay Peters? Jay Peters was the fucking guy.
Jay Peters was awesome at the Expo.
He
I will never
and
forget
hangs
his
out
name.
with us. We're giving him shit. I don't even know what the fuck his name is. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm Jay Peters. I was in this Discord and I've been listening to you guys. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what's up, buddy? Like, even better.
Jay was the man.
You don't have to be a content creator. Even if you're just a fucking casual fan of fantasy football. Like,
most people aren't content creators that stayed with us last time.
Come and fucking hang out. Not just South Harmon stuff, which we'll promote to the fucking moon. Like, we're the best. I get it. Like, we're the best community there is. But anybody else, like, everybody there fucking loves meeting fans. They love just talking fucking football. It is not awkward at all. You will fit right in. Jesus Christ, Rip goes out and just, like, does whatever and finds, like, random strangers who aren't even there for the Fantasy Expo, and they come over and they start talking fantasy football with us. It's so fucking weird.
It's a tradition unlike any other.
Yeah, you remember I was having a conversation with somebody. She's like, I don't even like football. I was like, oh, all right.
Are you in the right
What
place?
are you here for?
Yeah,
What are you here for? I'm here for a bachelorette party. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
let me give you a list of my top 12 quarterbacks.
By the way, we didn't really answer that. I feel like we kind of said I'm not doubling down on it anymore. I think he's now kind of appropriately valued. That helps him get there. But if people are still willing to go too crazy on Nico, I'll sell anybody. It's not a Nico thing. I'll sell any fucking player in Dynasty almost always.
I
no
think
much
right
love.
now, at least for Nico, he's kind of appropriately valued. If it got fucking crazy and he moves back up into that top 15 area, Adam, like where he was a couple months ago, fuck yeah, sell him.
I'll be honest, like with the uncertainty right now surrounded by Ayuk, I'm not really buying into that for the record. But like, I don't even have a problem if you want to put him kind of in that tier. I'm definitely taking Ayuk even still ahead of Nico, but I think I'm willing to go to roughly that range. When you start getting to the Tyreek, the London, the Rome, that's when you lose me. I'm out. You know, he's gone for me at that range for sure. I can handle it all the way in that Ayuk, the Smitty, the Pittman. Like, I'm not saying I prefer him to these guys. I'm saying this range is appropriate. Waddle,
Yeah.
Hill, London, Adunze, Olave, AJ Brown, probably right in that range. It's like, now you're starting to lose me here.
Now you're losing me.
Yep.
I'm good.
All right, so Fantasy
Especially
God,
with two other stars on his team.
Facts. Let's end with this, Mike. No, much love. I feel as though drafting Knicks in the late first or early second instead of taking a shot at these wide receivers that could have long-term value. Knicks is up against it with teams willing to move on. Can I just say this? Fantasy God, can I tell you that actually, while I said I was going to answer this here, your super chat, you may not know it, but it got about as much attention as one can because literally the entire 4D podcast that we're going to do, shout out to everybody here. If you're not on the podcast feed only, okay, because someone was asking about starting a podcast, go subscribe to our podcast feed. Fantasy God, I promise you need to listen to the 4D chess episode coming out on Friday because it's going to really talk about the reason why. I understand completely what you're saying for the record. Like, I understand that the community doesn't love Knicks, that people are, because they hate him so much, if he doesn't actually play well, he goes further down in value. He doesn't have a lot of value insulation. But just listen to the podcast Friday. We did a deep dive. This is actually part 3 of a deep dive series. But we've continued to have Dynasty Barry, who hopefully is still in the chat. Shout out to DB. Continually update the data because people have been asking for specifics. This data really shows, frankly, the hit rate for receivers that are not taken in the top 10 versus quarterbacks that are, taken in that range. So go check it out. Just give that a check out and come back on Wednesday and give us your feedback to the podcast, Fantasy God. How about that?
Listen to it too. I mean, one of the biggest things about doing Dynasty and doing Dynasty content is there's a lot of people out there with individual player takes. Yes.
I love that.
I do call him.
Jen's been winning tonight. Sorry, I didn't mean to actually pull that off the screen. Go ahead.
You're good. But one of the biggest things about Dynasty content and how Adam and I really started it is because there's so much stuff that is individual player takes, and we all love them. Like, I got my guys, Adam's got his guys, you guys have your guys. But so much of the analysis is just like player takes, like who's better than who. And I don't know if this is, Adam, you can attest to this. Maybe it's the Mike Lou upbringing. Maybe it's, Destination Devy, part of that, like, bleeding in. Maybe it's some of Player Profiler and Nate Liss and Matt Kelly.
There was a lot of people that were involved in the process that we got to.
Shout out DF Bean Counter Drew. We've had him
Definitely.
on a trade show one time.
Definitely.
Fuck, we got to get him back, by the way, at some point. I want to hang out with Drew.
Big time.
And
By the
we'll
way,
tell him,
and
like,
what's crazy is
it's on
Jacob.
video, so, yeah.
Jacob Sanderson did work with Drew and now is doing stuff with our guy Thomas Tipple.
Thomas.
Right?
But so much of the stuff is like player versus player analysis, and it's just player analysis. And one of the things that Adam and I have always wanted to do is like, well, what does the data like say about it? Is our player analysis actually right, or is the data like telling us, listen, you can have your player biases and you can have your little fun, but if the data's telling you this is a super bad fucking bet, then why are you making it? Other than acknowledging that it's an outlier. So a good example of this is, I'm an Eagles fan. I've always been a Saquon Barkley fan, going back to his Penn State days. Like one of the greatest fucking running backs I've ever seen, and one of the greatest running back prospects we've ever seen. Now Saquon Barkley is on the Eagles. And people ask, like, what should I trade for Saquon Barkley? And I'm like, there's two different answers here. There's what you should trade for him, which is the process play of treat him like
Correct.
a fucking old running back who could die after this fucking year and not be worth anything, but who's also had elite moments, so keep that in mind. And then there's what I would trade for him in my heart, but understanding that this is probably a bad process play. But the rest of my roster has been constructed, the rest of my team, the rest of my portfolio has been constructed where I can make one or two bad moves with my heart if they don't work out and still be fine at the end.
Right.
So I think this has always been a juggling act for me and Adam, is to balance like our feelings like, oh man, this guy's fucking garbage. But the data says this. And maybe he's not as garbage. This is the Bo Nix fucking question. This is the Bo Nix thing. Listen, I fucking hated Bo Nix coming in. I thought he was a check down artist. I thought he was worse than Brock Purdy, which is fucking impossible for me because you guys know how much I fucking hate Brock Purdy. I thought he was terrible.
Right.
But then he gets first round NFL draft capital, and it's top 15, and it's to Sean Payton and the Broncos, which isn't the greatest spot situation-wise, but the coach is really good. And the coach has done stuff with, Drew Brees, and he made fucking Jameis Winston again relevant even after his 30 for 30 season.
Say it
like
again.
He's made fucking Taysom Hill relevant, who I think is ass. Like super ass. Like he has done this. And I look at it and I go, man, I think Bo Nix is fucking terrible. But you know what? At the 108 versus another wide receiver who doesn't have top 10 draft capital, I'm taking fucking Bo Nix 10 out of 10 times because I play Dynasty. I know what happens with quarterbacks, even shitty quarterbacks. And I know the value retention versus what some of these wide receivers could become. That's what leads into like the overall process. And to Adam's point, if you listen to 40 on Friday when it comes out, it's even more accentuated when we start taking out some of the variables of like, oh, you guys looked at too many classes or you went back way too far. Like we cut all that bullshit out and just went with like recent. What does the recent data say? And the recent data says, listen, if you take one of these fucking wide receivers over Bo Nix, you're definitely doing it wrong. Or you're making a super outlier bet.
So Fantasy God, here's what I would say to do. Listen to the episode, listen to where we're coming from. And then I'll say this from a person that has made a ton of terrible investments and got burned by a lot of players. I would just put yourself in the position of just viewing it then after consuming that data of what are the ranges of outcomes for Nix? And realistically, where is your comfort level if you are true to what you believe that the ranges of outcomes are? That's really the final thing. By the way, I feel like at this point, we've definitely given you the super chat discussion and the 40 episode coming out. But Mike, the Expo is held in Canton, Ohio. We have. So get this. We rent out. If you are not familiar with this, the guy who owns it, by the way, Gary, awesome guy. The whole thing with the Expo, the more we've continued to do it, just like there's some like intervention from other people that it just all of it isn't supposed to go the way that it goes. Everything's so great. The person that owns he bought an old school in Canton, Ohio, right by the Expo downtown. And he completely has renovated this school, and it's turned it into a giant Airbnb. And we decided to go all in, and we rented it, and it went from a great time in 2022 to a what the fuck is this amazing, outrageous, insane, stupid trip. And just believe me when I tell you that we have a arrangement with Gary where we'll have this year after year, as long as you guys don't come and screw it up. So,
It will be fine.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, make sure Fantasy God, I know you're coming from Maine. I don't know if we have other people coming from the Northeast. If you want to try to do the drive, it's a long drive. I actually had a chance to go do a visit up at Maine, Mike. I didn't even go because it was so far away and I heard some horror stories. It's like 16 hours, I believe, from where I live. So if you can make the trip, make the trip. But depends on probably what part of Maine.
Mr. Matty Kiwom up there in the Northeast, the New England area.
The first trip that we had, they didn't come last year, but they had a whole carpool of people from more like Boston. But maybe you can meet some people. We'll
rectify it this year.
Yeah. Oh, we better. There's two things I wanted to pull up, and then we got to get up out of here. Okay. Danny Riddle says Puka, Dell, and a first and 26, or JJ and Flowers. JJ and Flowers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. JJ and Flowers.
Well, just think about it this way, okay? Puka and the 26 first to get to JJ is not even a discussion for me, although I understand people that are truthers on Puka. And Dell and Flowers, to me, I actually lean Flowers, but cancel them. Fractions, right?
Cancel them out. Fraction. Yep. Well, my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, just brought home. She's only got a couple days of school left, and the last couple days are just like joke days. Tomorrow she goes to the pool, like all day or whatever. So she brought me her, like end of the year first grade summary, I guess, like benchmark thing. And like some of the stuff on there, she's like, I'm really good at math, but I can't read very good. So she'd get this one. Just cancel them out. Like doesn't matter. The equals. My 7-year-old's got this. Theo, with all the fucking YouTube comments, which I appreciate you to death for all the YouTube comments. Like, if you don't show up at the Expo this year, what the fuck are you doing?
Theo, you need to
Fantasy
be at the
Football
Expo. Canton, Ohio. Just everybody. Fantasy Football Expo, Canton, Ohio. Destination
hit us up,
you
too,
should
if
be
you're
there.
in there. I want to hang out with you. Let's go to fucking George's. It's a goddamn bar that's way too small for all of us, but we'll fit in there, trust me. Corey and I didn't think we'd fit, but we did.
Pause.
We made it.
lot of questionable things that if you listen back, pretty awesome stuff.
What?
Fantastic. It's good.
What are you talking about?
But Danny, yeah, if you're getting the JJ or Flower side, smash it. If you have that side, not even a discussion. Okay, by the way, this was the last thing I wanted to put up here, right? Until next time, because that's when we'll see you guys back next time. I remember, Mike, and I say I remember when we did the trade show together, you and I. They got handed to it by Ray. When Adam and Mike started taking over the trade show on DD, I was kind of upset. I remember in the comments, like, yeah, they're cool. I like them, but we want Ray on here. But I'm glad I gave him a chance because shit over DD. Listen, I didn't tell you to say this. I promise it's not my burner.
Swear to God, it's not me either.
But regardless, we appreciate you giving us a chance and sticking around. So just consider.
Too drunk to spell all the words right.
Consider this, Fantasy God. Consider us Bo Nix. All right, once thought to be a joke. All right, here we are. Saluting everybody coming to the Fantasy Football Expo. We appreciate y'all. We love you. We'll see you back here, same time, same place, next Wednesday for AMA. We're out of this thing. Peace.
Peace, everybody.